Just realized I had the wrong screen up. What's up, Chris? What's up, SM? How you doing, man? Actually starting the stream on time tonight. What is the world coming to? Dan, my man, what is up? Okay, Chris, I'll check it here in a minute. Oh yeah. I hope everyone had just an absolutely stellar hump day Wednesday. Cookie Monster. Chomp chomp. I love that emote. Sir Caffeine. My favorite molecule. What's up, my man? Managed to get the kids in bed on time and catch a nap way before the stream, so I didn't fall asleep with the kids. So we could actually start the stream on time. I've only tinkered around with QEMU. I haven't really messed with it that much. It's a really cool tool. It's something I'd like to learn more about. I just haven't had a need to dig into it yet. That's right. I got a funny story for y'all here. They always do this to me. The ads always want to start like right as the countdown's about to be done. Once we get all around this, do this initial round of ads, I'll tell y'all a funny story. and a can. Stupid cables. There we go. Alright, sweet. The ads are done. Alright, so you're talking about happy kids, happy life. So I usually try to catch like a 1 hour nap in the afternoon, right? I don't get to bed till sometimes like 1 o'clock. I got to get up between 5 and 6 to help get the wife and the kids out the door sometimes. So I try to catch a 1 hour nap in the afternoon. Managed to do that. But then about the end of that 1 hour, I hear APT just screaming bloody murder. So I go out and I get up, I kind of come out there and I'm just like, and he seemed to have calmed down by then. I was like, honey, what was he yelling about? He's like, oh, he refused to pick up his toys. So I started, this is what my wife told me. She's like, I started throwing them away in the backyard. So about the time she's about ready to throw away one of his favorite toys, he's like, no, I clean up, and he started picking up his toys. Yeah, Chris. You know what? That's actually, Chris, why I think having cleaned up my diet was such a big help, because if I hadn't, I've operated on this amount of sleep in the past, and it was a train wreck. So I can only imagine now, with how I'm eating and how I've got stuff dialed in, if I got to exercise the way I wanted to, which is about 6 days a week and take Sunday off. Right now I exercise 3 days a week, and I was getting like 6.5 hours of sleep. I might just go like freaking Super Saiyan, just boosh. My hair would come back. Yeah, but actually, I feel pretty good, Caffeine, and the way I do the splits, I should be able to do 6, because the way it works is it's chest and back and shoulders, and then it's arms, so biceps, triceps, and other small muscles like doing wrist curls. And then the last day is legs, so it's deadlifts, squats, and calf raises. And so, you know, I'm only hitting those twice a week, and there's a 2-day break between each one. But right now, my schedule's so busy, I just try to make sure I hit each of those groups once a week. Dude, I feel it, Chris, man. You're talking to somebody who has lived on the computer for the last probably 14 years. So I started in IT. Oh, so Caffeine, you were talking about looking at QEMU for looking at some of the embedded system stuff. Have you seen what was that system here? Hang on, let me find it. Here in the templates, there is it Remnux? No, that's not it. Surely it's not Remnux I'm thinking of. I don't think so. Yeah, that's a malware analysis toolkit. What was it called? Dang it. I guess it's not a template. It's got to be in the rules here. I found the rules. There was one in here for basically setting up stuff. Emux. There we go. It's like Remnux, but just Emux here. Emux will let you install and start tinkering around with some of the basic stuff. It might use QEMU. Let's go take a look at it. This installs Emux, formerly ARMX, and runs an emulated device on Debian host. Let's go see what Emux does. Trying to see if it has any maybe explanation to it. Yeah, it's a firmware emulator, exactly. Oh God. All the stupid messages. I'm actually expecting an important one. That's otherwise I wouldn't be messing with my phone right now. Yeah, and I don't know if Emux uses. Oh yeah, Emux uses QEMU. So this might be a way you can maybe piggyback off of this system to mess with it. Yeah, actually, I got the chance to talk to a fella today that was a malware reverse engineer, and I find those guys to be just absolute wizards. So think about this: every area of security, there's always some specialist that's going to blow your mind, and so you can be good at what you do, but you can't really be good at everything because all the rabbit holes have just gotten so deep. The cat and mouse game continues. Let me close that, close that. I do want this. We're gonna mess with this in a bit. I thought tonight what we would do is start building out the config that we planned out last night. At least get the base config done. So Elastic on your list? Oh, yeah, actually, I was thinking about looking at Elastic Security. So let me close up some of these. And you know what's funny? You know how I was talking about the, sure enough, as soon as I think of something, sure enough, some nerds already beat me to it. Well, I was talking to a guy today about the idea I'd had to break up a big, like omnibus tools like Rubius into smaller purpose-built tools that we could use. Like maybe just the ask TGT functions for Rubius. Somebody already did it and implemented it as a beacon object file. So I'm like, oh, great, of course. Every time I think of something cool, somebody's like, beat you to it, nerd. Hey, Euler, what's up, my man? Dude, I get that caffeine. My back is jacked up. And what was funny, it should be pronounced Euler. I know, caffeine. I know. But I just have to mess with it.
Caution. A virus has been detected.
Oh, virus!
Cyber info virus detected in the network.
You know what I need now? I just realized. So I always send the Cookie Monster to slow down the raiders. But what I should do is I should get a flu shot. You know, from that stupid scene from Hackers. Look, this rabbit in the kernel, send a flu shot. Yeah. What's up, Cyber? What's up, man? Yeah, send a cootie shot to stop the virus. What's going on? You had a good timing. We're just kicking it off. In fact, I even forgot what the hell I was doing. What was I doing? Oh, my headphones are yelling at me that their battery's about to die. One sec. There we go. I forgot to charge them last night. Hey, Kaksu. Welcome in, everyone. What were we just talking about? I'm trying to remember. We were talking about busting up binaries. Oh, I remember. Actually, there was something over in the Mythic C2 I need to go check out real quick. Let me rearrange the size of my screen here, because this is a little off. Rearrange this. When my monitors power off, it moves all my dang windows around, which is rather rude. Still busting out the Cybercore stuff, getting distracted every 5 seconds, the usual. Dude, we're just having a blast, man. So check this out. I started planning out a new lab to build last night. Look at this absolute monstrosity. Each of these is a domain. Oh, let me turn the Panda Cam off. You can see this. Actually, I tell you what, let me pull it up on the iPad because you'll be able to see it better. Here we go. Look at this absolute just cacophony of domain and stuff. So each of these is a different domain, and I was trying to think how I wanted these to be situated. And in fact, I need to make a change to it because I realized something. What I wanted to do, that's a one-way out. That would be... So, because I wanted a one-way out and a one-way in connection here. But these are all the machines we're going to have in it. D4's going to have a web server. That's our initial vulnerable entry point. And then there's the Crown Jewel files over in Skunkworks. And so, maybe I shouldn't have packed away my Dell R630. Yeah. Dude, I love Ludus. This thing is great. No fishing, Chris. Should get the domain blazebitsrules.edu. Well, let me think about this. So this was supposed to go from here to here. So yeah, actually, I want the trust to go this way. Oh, I didn't mean to delete that. That's all right. I'm gonna reverse this because this is the attack path here. You start over in D4, move to D2, D3, D1, and D5 finally. So this is a one-way, from this perspective, this is a one-way out trust. And then from here, this would be a one-way in trust. And so I wanted to have each of these different trust relationships represented in here. Kind of mess with. Dude, Mythic does have a lot of moving parts, but I was having a blast messing with it. I'm messing with the new 3.3 beta branch and just finding bugs and sending them up to Mr. It's a Feature. You can get your pick of C2 servers on GitHub through the awesome command control. So I actually have heard of guys doing command and control over GitHub. I think GitHub Actions specifically. Would you like to play a game? Collection of awesome command and control frameworks, tools, resources. Neat. Baby Shark. Oh, too funny. He's really awesome. I've bugged him so much about Mythic, and he's been just very patient with my idiotic questions. What am I looking at though? Jeez. Okay, so we looked at the lab a little bit. Gosh, I forgot where I was going. I wanted to start building out the Ludus config for just the layout of the network and maybe some of the firewall rules. I have to think about this. Look at the pay scale for an offensive security engineer. Yeah, they can get paid pretty well, especially if you're really skilled at it. I think the list is pretty cool. It's like, so let's look at the open source here. Evil OS X and Evil Rat for Mac OS. Neat. Interpreter, Puppy, commercial, online resources. But yeah, I like the list. Definitely. Wait, I thought app fell. I'm gonna think of something wrong thing. Yeah, because Appfell, isn't that an agent for Mythic? That's not a particular C2 in and of itself. The Evil OS X one seems great for those trying to get their OSMR. Yeah, I would like to know some more about Mac, but honestly, as far as like the priority list, after we get some more stuff done in the lab, I get a lot more comfortable with doing the command and control over Mythic, and then not only that, but doing some of the maldev stuff to get the Mythic loader to where it's not detected very easily, doing a lot of AV bypass stuff. That's when I was considering moving more into trying to do the cloud parts. Because if you noticed, up here, we have a potential future link where we're going to see if maybe we can get HQ, this is domain 3 here, set up to have like a hybrid Azure environment. So that would be kind of cool, because then we could do a different attack path. So rather than compromising the DMZ, we come in through Azure in some way, maybe a vulnerable Azure app, connect to that, get back to on-prem, and then finish the exploit chain. So that would be kind of cool, because there'd be 2 entry points into here. So I'm excited about this lab. I think it'd be pretty awesome. Actually, I need to take a new screenshot because I've made changes to it. Like I put a little crown down here, change the direction of this truss. So let's go update that. Screenshot. Throw that over in Notion real quick. Crank this down a wee bit. Perfect. In fact, actually, I do cut off an edge here. There we go. Make it a little bit smaller so it fills up more of the page. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, this will be a pretty killer lab. Let's see. What do we count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 machines in this environment. It's gonna be beefy. What is that? 17 times. Let's just say 8. Each machine had 8 cores. Wait, hold on. 17 times 8. 136 gigs of RAM. So I'm gonna have to upgrade the server in order to make this work. Because the server, well, actually, we can get away with a little more. So if we did, I want to say 17 times 6. Okay, because some of these machines will have 4, some of them will have 8. Well, I'll think about what the split is on these. We can get away with doing 4 on some of these. The elastic one's probably going to need more, though, so probably I will need to go ahead and get the RAM upgrade for this server. It's got 128 gigs in it currently, but I'm only using half the RAM slot, so I can bump it up to 256. Apress has a book on Maldev as well. Yeah, I mean, I have access to the Maldev Academy over here. I just have to figure out how I'm going to work on it, because if I wanted to do it on stream, I've got to have time to like just sit here and learn the information and grok it, and then try to recompile it over into what we would do on stream. You learned how to build malware? Oh, yeah. Yep. And what was funny is the guy who was the malware reverse engineer I was talking with today, we were joking because he actually got started by reverse engineering video games and looking at those. And if you haven't seen some of the reverse engineering work done by video game hackers, it's crazy. They get insane. And it's kind of funny also because those are the same people, like when they see, hey, there's a new EDR bypass happening, all the game guys are like, yeah, we know. We've been doing that for like 10 years. People take their games very seriously. What are you doing, Twitch? Killing me. My little stream manager dashboard just went all wonky on me. Dismiss. Yeah, I've thought about trying to dig into his Windows internal stuff, but I decided I had the opportunity to get the copy of James Forshaw's Windows security internals specifically and start messing with that. ROP Academy is great for practicing. You know, I've seen ROP Academy. Let me go take a look at it though, because it's been a while since I looked at it. Roppers.org. This is way different than I remember it being. Is it? Hoppers, Roppers, nice. This is a bit different though. Hold on, is this that's not the right one. That's the Roppers Academy. I know what you're talking about, Kevin. This is the first thing came up. That's not the ROP Academy I'm seeing. ROP Academy. Malware? Malwarebytes? Nope. ROP Emporium. Yeah, this is the one I remember. Okay. I thought it was called Rop Academy, though. Threat to win. That's pretty cool. Now, this is more for actually, like, building exploits, though, right? You beginner's guide. Let's see. So, let's see. While you're here, ROP Emporium provides a series of challenges that are designed to teach ROP in isolation. With minimal requirements for reverse engineering or bug hunting. Yeah. That's why I kind of never... I like the idea of doing binary exploitation, but at the same time, I don't really have that strong desire to go do vulnerability hunting. I prefer to take other people's research and weaponize it. That's my thing. It's like, okay, cool. So I would never be a good theoretical physicist. Probably a pretty good experimental physicist, though. Hey, Tristana. Yeah, we covered the artifact kit a decent amount on the when we were going through the RTO. What you got? Yeah, I'll drop the ROP Emporium here in the chat for everyone. Oh, good. The YouTube chat just worked this time. No, so this would be teaching, Chris, this would be teaching how to do some binary exploitation. So it doesn't really strictly fall into red or blue. It's just exploit development. It's kind of a gray area in between red and blue. Yeah. There was another really good one. God, what was it? Let's see if I can remember the name of that one. It had some really good... And it was all text-based, too. Like, you literally telnet into a service, and that's where you would... Or SSH into a service, and that's where you do it. Gosh, what was that one called? That was a really good one, too. And I remember the first challenge gave me a lot of trouble because I was trying to brute force it with, like, some NOP sleds and stuff, and that's not what they wanted. They wanted you to do the explicit, like offset calculations. Alright, so the default artifact kit comes with bypass pipe, read file, and bypass peak. Am I always subject to these bypasses, or can I modify other beacon source code? As far as I don't think you're limited to what you can use, Tristana. If you use bypass pipe, so whenever you use those different bypass methods, there's going to change your binary, and you're going to have different things that you're going to have to go change in accordance with that. But minor spoiler, I don't think peak has anything to change. I think once you fix the stuff in the main beacon, I think bypass peak actually just works. If you do pipe, there's some static strings in there that get matched against. Just give us a tour of your Obsidian functionality you have built, if any. I haven't used any Obsidian. I'm using Notion right now. And so I'm just getting into Notion. I'm still working on porting stuff from Gitbook over into Notion. That's where these kind of came from. But trying to find something to do automated was a bit of a pain, so I'm just copying and pasting it over. Can I only load one aggressor script at a time? Oh, no, you can load multiple. Now, hold on. Now, if you're talking about loading multiple aggressor, like resource kit or artifact kit aggressor scripts, yes, you can. But what you could do is you could load up the aggressor script for, let's say, bypass pipe. And then you could go build a couple like payloads, store those in a different folder. Then you could load up the next bypass method. So like say bypass peak, put those into a different folder, because the one you've got loaded is going to tell it where to source the code to build that beacon. I couldn't use Notion because it all goes online. Couldn't find an off switch. I decided to give Notion a try because it supposedly works very well on mobile applications. I started using Gitbook because it was pretty simple to use. But Gitbook has no mobile application support. So on the iPad here, I wanted to be able to have my notes on there. If I'm traveling and I wanted to maybe work on something, bam, they're right there. No, it's not published publicly, Chris. It's just it's a cloud service, so it's always online. Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this lab here. What I need to do... Hang on, I need to pop into OPSEC mode real quick and check something. Let me check out something real quick here. I can actually... Yes. I want to do this. Alright, I think I know how I'm going to do this instead. Let me go over to GitHub real quick. And let's come to Ludus Chris ranges here. I need to go finish off the Windows internal PowerShell AD range and go tinker with it just a tiny bit more. Because it's got a lot of junk left in like the README file. And I need to finish the deployment steps in here too. So like you need to add these roles and then you can just do the deploy. This stuff needs to really just go away. So I'm going to do that real fast while I'm here. Let's see, domain config steps. Yep, all you are going away because we are already done building you. Commit. There we go. I'll finish cleaning it up later, but what I want to do now is actually need to modify the settings, collaborators. Ah, damn it. Hang on, guys. Tell you what, I'll just do this off screen. Let's see. Yep. Bear with me one sec, my peeps. Check this. What are the domains you're referring to in the drawing? Just groupings? Oh, so these are Active Directory domains, Chris. So this would be like a standalone domain, but it has a trust relationship to D2, which is a child domain to D3 here. So like the corporate versus the HQ. And then another child domain to HQ here. And then there will be another standalone domain for like, let's call it high security research. That's where I do it. Sorry, this dumb question. Hey, don't apologize, Tristan. There are no dumb questions unless you just ask, like, you know, hey, do you like pineapple on pizza? In that case, that's a dumb question, but all the rest are fair. I came from Brute Retel, and there was no arsenal kit. Yeah, he did keep it. He did keep Padger pretty evasive and got kind of butthurt about it. I'm not going to go into that though. So let's say I wanted to modify the bypass.pxc file to fit my own custom implementation. If I have other header source files that I made during the whole process, how can I tell Cobalt Strike to use that code to compile the beacon?
Incoming transmission from E_Whaler.
Thanks for the transmission, Euler. So one thing you could do is, Tristana, is rather than... Okay, Euler, thanks for stopping by, dude. You gotta run, but I'm glad you stopped by to say hi. So, Tristana, one thing you could also do... is you can just dump the shell code, right? You can have it, rather than building a beacon inside Cobalt Strike, if you've got a custom loader, you could export your shell code, put that into your custom loader, and it'd be golden. Now, you can't really do that in the RTO lab because it's kind of restricted. So unless you could very easily get your loader code over to RTO and get it to a build state, it'd be kind of difficult to do that. But in reality, the defender that's on there is not super tuned up. The main thing you have to worry about in as far as evasion is concerned with RTO, getting past static analysis. So he covers how to do that with Ghidra, or as I like to call it, Gahydra. The planet, by the way. Another thing you could do with it is just making sure that you've got different. That's it. That's the main thing right there. The behavioral analysis is a bit different, but yeah. And see, Tristan, I've never built my own loader. That's what I was looking forward to as part of our lab escapades here, was building out kind of a custom loader from the stuff from Maldev. And I say custom, but it's only going to be custom in the fact that I built it. It's probably not going to be anything novel or unique. Like, I'm a big fan of using I wanted to try and implement the thread pool injection method, the pool party. Yeah, the guys at Maldev are also so cool. Yeah. But it's also for lifetime access, Chris. So, and as far as I've seen, that these guys, they put out so many updates. Hang on. Let me show you something here. Let me come to the home. Where are they? Oh, where's the actual learning here? Codebase? No, that's the other thing. Oh, it's right there. Duh. I'm blind. It's modules. So look at this. So this is new modules that they've added. This is since they've released Maldev, right? There are currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 updates they've put out. And you're still not paying for those. So it's basically like you're paying for all the DLC up front. Okay, well, I'll take it back. 13 is in works right now. So I mean, this is awesome. I love this stuff. Hold on, let's see. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, these are all sequential. So yeah, so not only have they put out they're getting ready to put out their 13th update, but an additional 59 modules in here. Yeah. It was stupid cheap for the money, especially considering how much I paid for trying harder. This is steal. I paid so much to try harder back in the day. So what to your knowledge ought to be a newbie know before getting into Maldev? Really, the main thing you want to know is just have a solid understanding of C. Because this is not directly building off of anything that's like red team operations. Think of this as gosh, well, I'm trying to remember the term. The guy in the military who takes care of the weapons. You know, the guy who's in the armory, like making sure that the like weapons are prepped for the team. That's more akin to what this is doing, is building the weaponry for the team to go use out in the field. Back when I did OSCP, I paid maybe $1,500 total. Oh, dude, yeah. So I took Tristana, I took the OSCP when it first came out in 2010, and went through all the material. Didn't spend as much time in the lab as I wanted to, so I didn't feel comfortable taking the exam. And I was in college at the time, so I skipped the exam. I didn't come back to revisit it until 2018. And in 2018, it hadn't changed very much. Yeah, the armor, Matt. Thank you. God, I was drawing a blank on that. And so that's more akin to what this is basically building out the tools for the operators to use. So it's a different skill set. This doesn't build on top of any of the operational understanding. They overlap a bit, right? Because you got to know what button does what. But yeah. I didn't get super far in Maldev. No, not here. Okay. Main modules. As you can see, I didn't get super far before I had to put it down. Like, I just got to some of the custom stuff in here, but I really want to go back and visit it. Yeah, I did that too, Tristana. Sure did. I got a math degree to prove it, and now I don't even use math hardly. Yeah. Tell me about it. All right, let me... I need to check something real quick in my other browser here. Be this. And I want to go do something. Clone a new repo. Oh, gotta do. There we go. That. Alright. Did I finish the Cobalt Strike helper for RTO1? It's about as finished as it's going to get. I thought about going back and trying to beef it up a little bit more, but it's a bit hard because I still don't have any access to Cobalt Strike to go test some of the stuff on it. But also, one thing I noticed is that the way I thought... One of the things I thought that... The way I thought I had generalized the functions enough still wasn't enough, and I still had to take some of the ideas from that script and go manually re-implement some of the methods. But one thing that was handy about it was this. So if we go look at the RTO helper. And let's come down to like towards the end where the code actually is good. So let's say, for example, so once I kind of realized what kind of formatting tricks I could use. So this right here, this alias for curve relay up right here. What I could check is, hey, what do I need to send to this? So I know what the parameters are because I had them already built out. I could read this real quick, right? Go check my shadow creds, whatnot. So what I did is I would use this for some of those attacks that I needed to customize, like say for the exam. I would use this, say, oh, okay, that's the command switches I needed to use, and just go modify them a bit or add something different onto them. So it's about as good as it's going to get because I don't have access to Cobalt Strike anymore. But it is a fun thing. And also what was funny is like some of these things didn't even exist on the... I built all these cool functions and like, yeah, I'm going to be totally prepared. And actually I was. I think I probably used only about 5% of what was in here on the actual exam. It is way overkill. But at the same time, I'll show this to folks like whenever they're asking questions and like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. So especially since the way the code is written out, it tries to make it a little bit more understandable, like this. Tried to make the code nice and readable. One of the tips that a buddy of mine gave me was always assume that somebody's going to be coming up behind you to maintain your code, and they're a psychopath and an axe murderer. I think what I need to do here... don't think I need that. I'm going to close this out. Just get rid of all that. And then I'm going to open this in Visual Studio Code. Wow, this whole thing is like just massively zoomed in. Right, let's make a new folder here. We're going to call this... Baby Bottles Inc. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start building this guy here. So, new file. We're going to do the README. And so this is going to be Baby Bottles Inc. This lab will be a giant Active Directory. Actually, I'm going to say red teaming. Active Directory. I just say that red team simulation attack. Simulation lab. I'm just going to leave it at that for now, just so there is a README in place here. And then let's go ahead and do a new file. Call this range config.yaml. Oh. And then what we'll do is we're actually going to use... I need to go grab something from here. Kind of want to... Actually, I tell you, I'm not going to use this for now. What I'm going to do is actually go use a copy of some of the stuff from the Goad lab. There we go. So let's go grab just this upper section here. Close that one out, and just drop this right here. Out. Excellent. So what we do is we're going to call this BBI. Call this BBI. And what we could do is now just start using this as a template to start cloning this guy out. So what we'll do is, let's come over to... Oh, that's not the right window. Let's go look at the Notion notes. And we'll just start building out the domain list. So first thing is we're going to do the HQ domain. So probably what I'll do is I'll name these like HQ tack their name. This might be BBI HQ DC. And then the host name. What do I want to call this for the host name? I don't know. We'll figure this part out here in a little bit. I'm just going to leave this alone for now. Because eventually I'm going to theme this because actually I have a small story that I want to embed in the lab just for fun. And so I'm going to theme this a little bit, and I might do that part off screen, even though, I mean, you can go read the damn stuff on GitHub, but I just thought it'd be funny. All right, so rather than the, so DC, let's see, these are all going to be VLAN 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it like this. Just like this. So we got 1, 2. Just real quick. 3, 4, 5. Okay. So we can just start running down the list real quick here. So the domain controller, these are all VLAN 10. They're on, so this is .10. This one will be SQL, and the last octet is 20. Actually, I want to go check something real quick because I think everything for Game of Active Directory. What was that? Yeah, 2019. One domain controller was 2016, and I think all the rest were 2019. So we'll probably just stick to 2019 on here. Let's see. So SQL is 20. Losing track of my windows here. There we go. So I'm just going to build out the base configs. That's 10. I'll leave that alone for a second. 20. Squid proxy is going to be 30. Now, the squid proxy actually is not going to be... Oh, the squid. But squid is actually not going to be a Windows server. I forgot about that. So, squid web proxy. Alright, this only runs on Linux, right? So we'll probably have that be a Debian 12 system in here. What do we use for Debian 12? You know, easy way to find that is we just come over to Ludus. So if we do this templates list. So this is the template we're going to use. We're going to use Debian 12 for it right here. So rather than using Windows, we'll use 10. There's that. And then this one is going to be VLAN 10 on 30. We're probably going to have to come adjust the RAM a bit. Like this one right here probably needs like, probably 2 and 4 is probably just fine for it. Because Debian doesn't use a ton. Squid doesn't use a ton, I don't think. And then this needs, I believe, the Linux key here. And I'll just leave that blank for now. All right, so after the squid proxy, let's see, we're going to set up SCCM. That's going to be .40. This is why I like Ludus, because you see how quickly we're just starting to prototype it out by just having a little bit of a plan and filling it in. All right, I'm going to call that one ES. That's going to be .250. Last octet, 350. Boom. So that is the base setup for the HQ domain. So then what we can do is start building the corp domain on VLAN 20. So what I'll do is I'll copy this. And then I'm just going to change that to 20. Change that back to 10. And then this is going to be 4. And then we'll just delete the identifier for now. So this way we've got a nice little template we can use. Copy that. And then so in the corp we've got, 1 server and then 2 workstations. Okay, so we'll have to go change the identifiers on those, but that's no problem. Let's see, so that's 10. This is going to be... Yeah, 10, 20, and 30. Set this up. These are all on VLAN 20. And so this is going to be BVI Corp. This is going to be... What's the first one? The DC. And then this is going to be... Workstation 1. And this one will be... That's going to be Workstation 2. And then I need to get a different template for that because we obviously don't want to use a server template for a workstation. So as much as I really hate to do it, I'm going to use Windows 11 here. Just because that is how a lot of corporate environments are going now. Set that. All right, cool. So now, so we got 1 server and 2 workstations. Quick fix. So let's grab this here. And we'll start making the next one. So once we're done with the corp, the next one was our DMZ, which was VLAN 100. Actually, I'm going to rearrange this a bit. I'll put the DMZ right here. There we go. Let's do the next one. VLAN 30, which was our R&D domain. Let's see, so we'll change this to RD. D. Okay, we're going to put that on which VLAN? 30. That VLAN 30. This is going to be number 10 on here. Then that should be good as a template. And then let's see. So for R&D, we have DC, SQL, and we have another workstation. So let's go ahead and adjust that workstation template real quick. We'll build this one out here. Believe it or not, this is the easiest part. When we have to start figuring out how we're going to do the Ansible rules, that's when shit's going to get hairy. Oh man, I ran out of Jocko already. Jocko. Not sponsored by Jocko yet. I'm working on it. When I get ready, when I can complete a Murph, I'm going to send the video to Jocko, along with a compilation of all the times I said not sponsored by Jocko yet. Were you looking into Pulumi at one point? What are your thoughts on it? I've not actually looked at Pulumi. Is it a Terraform alternative? Infrastructure as code in any programming language. Interesting. How much you want to bet if I actually asked to talk to a human? Oh, it sends me to a contact form. I was just curious about that. Engineers love Pulumi. Let's look at the overview real quick. I'm just curious about it now. Software delivery pipelines. Let's see. Infrastructure code. No, I hadn't tried this before. Although I'm not surprised given the kind of rug pull that Terraform did with changing their licensing, that there wasn't some kind of competitor just ready to pounce on it. No, you're good, dude. I live for the side quests. But it looks interesting, and particularly the fact that you can do it in any language and you're not hard-coded to one particular language. That is actually pretty cool. Yeah, if anybody wants to check that out, here's the link to it. It does look neat, like I said, particularly having the different SDKs for the different languages. I think that's pretty slick. That's smart on their part, because the more flexibility you can provide somebody, the better. Like, do y'all remember when Linksys got all butthurt because they had to open source their code for the like the WRT route, the little blue routers? Their sales actually exploded after they had to do that, because now people had the ability to tinker and customize that stuff. So if you can make something hacker friendly and like readily accessible to folks, you'll sell more units. That's what these people don't get, and they're all like, no, my intellectual property. Get out of here with that noise. I understand some intellectual property, but you're selling a damn router. Come on. All right, let's see. So this is all VLAN 30. All right, so we got our DC at IP10, and then after our DC, what's next? SQL on .20. And DC, this can be SQL. Well, last octet 20. And then this is going to be a workstation, so this is going to be... What did I call these other ones up here? WKSTN? Okay. In fact, I'm going to call it WKSTN1 because this is workstation 1 of the R&D domain, so it's a little bit different. And what was the IP address there? 30. Okay, so we'll change this to a 30. Boom. And then, let's see, we need Skunkworks. How could I forget Skunkworks over here? That's VLAN 40. All right. That's going to be our last big one here. Then we still have to do the DMZ and the Kali box as well. All right. SW. that's going to be VLAN 40, and this first one's going to be 10. Let's see. So then we have another workstation on dot 20. So perfect. I'll just duplicate this one right here. So that's going to be SW, Windows 11, VLAN 40, IP address 20, and then the file server, which is going to be on 30. And I'm trying to think what to make the file server. I imagined it was going to be a Windows system, so I'll probably just do that again. Okay. All this FS, and then that was .30 here. Oh. This lab is probably going to take a ridiculous amount of time to deploy. And I have no idea exactly how I'm going to make it work just yet. This one will probably have to have a deploy script. And the reason I say that is because, you know, if we look at the lab diagram here. If we look at the lab diagram, think about how many preconditions there have to be. This domain has to get set up. To set up this as a child domain. The R&D has to get set up to build the trust relationship here. This one then has to get set up to build a trust relationship here, and same thing here. So I'm gonna have to figure out, I'm gonna have to talk to the guys at Ludus. I tried to do this a little bit, but I tried to do it kind of hackish, janky way. And that's what I was messing with using the Windows internals lab. But I think what I'm gonna do is actually find a proper way to kind of converse with the API and check the status. So that way I can see, okay, hey, this stage was done with no errors. Move on to the next stage. That's what we're going to have to do. Can't wait to build this thing. It's going to be lit. Alright, so there's our file server. This is our Crown Jewels machine. And then we need one more here. We need the DMZ, which would be VLAN 100. That has a DC and a web server. And the web server, initially I had planned to have unconstrained delegation. I'm going to take this out. Because more than likely what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put a vulnerable Docker service out here. And in that vulnerable Docker service, you'll be able to compromise into the container, escape the container, and then pivot from this Linux server into the DC. So Dan was kind of giving me ideas about that last night, which I still really like. I was thinking about that today. I was like, that is actually a really good exploit path. I like it. So let's do that. So let's go ahead and build out our last little domain, which will be our DMZ. 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 DMZ's nuts. All right. We have DC here. Oh, you know, I just realized I copied this and I didn't change this. There we go. That would have been annoying. Because I just noticed it here. There we go. Let's see. So this is going to be VLAN, I think 100. Yeah. VLAN 100. And then this one will be 10. And then I need one more. I think I need one more Linux system. Where was that Linux one? I'm going to duplicate that. Yeah, the squid proxy here. Copy. And if I could put Elastic on Linux also, I will, because it'll probably require it and run better. I just don't know what the requirements for that are going to be yet. All right, so rather than HQ, DMZ, DMZ, and this is going to be yeah, I probably won't do that same escape though, Dan. The one that it was. Like just it's a privileged container. I'll probably go think of like another one that makes more sense. Because there's a couple of different Docker container escapes. That's usually just the one that gets abused the most is they make it a privileged container. And then and once you have a privileged container, you can do some other stuff. In fact, I can think of one right now. I'm not going to spoil it at the moment, but I got another idea. plenty. Okay, then we're gonna need a Cali test. There you go. So I'm gonna copy this right here. Man, this lab is gonna be chunky. This is gonna be. Is the music loud? I thought I had it at a good rate. This particular song might be kind of loud. Yeah, it was spiking up into the yellow. So like whenever here, I'll show you real quick. So here in OBS, here's infinite blaze, right? Usually whenever I'm working on it down here, I'm trying to keep these sound levels for the background music just under the yellow. And you can see they were popping up into the yellow here. Right now it's not because I'm talking. If I stop talking, see how it comes up. So I have a ducking filter that when I'm speaking, it turns the music down. Yeah, it seems a little bit more chill there. Let's see. All right, so we got that. And actually, I want to go try. Let's look at something else. Did it save that? Save. Oh, I didn't make a. This literally just has the range machines in here. It doesn't have like the workstation set up. Because I wanted to have us have a Kali and a Windows machine in here, but we can duplicate this, or duplicate our one of our Windows 11 machines here. What VLAN did I put these in? Kali testing box. Make another note. Windows testing box. VLAN 200. This would be. There we go. So we'll have a Kali box at .100. We'll have a Windows testing box at .1. And if I can, I'm going to strip these down to kind of like a bare minimum. So maybe 4 gigs and 2 cores. But this one, have it beefed up a bit to maybe 4 cores and 16 gigs if I can. Like I said, it's getting to be a rather chunky lab. Let's see. I already got one be like 200. That's right. So this would be 200. That would be 200. Call this one attacker. And so this will be. This should be good. Last octet, that's going to be 100. This one's going to be 101. And I'm going to go ahead and beef this one up to 4 and 2 right here. One thing I actually wanted to do also, in support of this, was to try to make a way to have a template that's running like Tiny 11. So Tiny 11's a script to set up a decrapified version of Windows 11. The Windows 11 we always wanted. And so if I can make a template to do that, so a machine template, that would be badass. All right, cool. I think that actually kind of finishes the build out here. I can't even test the deployment though currently because we'll go look in Ludus. I don't think I have enough RAM to go see. I mean, I know I don't because of the stuff that's running right now. because I've got Game of Active Directory running on here, and that's taking up a decent amount. Plus, we've got a couple other additionals, like we got a Kali machine, a Mythic, and a Ghost Rider. Our meta system is up here. Actually, I need to back up that meta system. That's what I need to do. I need to find a way to take an off-machine backup of it, because I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff on there. I'd like to have an off-site backup from the server, because the server is running in a RAID 0. What is about Windows 11 that everyone hates? I haven't tried it yet. It's not as bad as Windows 8 was, but you could tell it's more tabletized. It's a bit more annoying just to deal with. It's also a lot more intrusive with the tracking and everything. The debloat script from Chris Titus Tech is really good. I think that's the one I used actually on this meta system here. Go double check. Windows debloat Chris Titus. Was this the one? I think this was the one we used. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was. I want to say, if not, it was something very similar to it that we used. But now, how to automate this has an option called micro windows. Ooh, that might be nice. Well, actually, so I have a conflicting feeling about that, Gooseper, and that is, I do want the machines to be more chill, but at the same time also to more approximate what would be in a corporate environment, right? So if I could find a way to maybe remove some of the bloat and maybe kill the telemetry, that would be cool. Like, if I could automate this a bit. It's a really cool library. In fact, whenever I rebuild this computer, I don't know when it's going to be, because rebuilding an OBS setup freaking sucks, man. I plan on using this instead, because I used to use Tron to debloat systems. And I think Tron still works okay, but I think there's other systems that have made better leaps and bounds like this one. And plus, Tron is only distributed over Reddit, and I don't really care for Reddit as much these days. I only go to Reddit to find a piece of information, and I get the hell off of Reddit. Micro windows. I love that idea, though. All right, so one other thing we can do is we can start working on the range config here. So this base config, I think, is done here. Yeah, we're kind of done with this. I'm just going to check all this. Why? Because it feels good to check the boxes. That's why. Although, some of these boxes are going to get unchecked once we actually try to deploy this damn thing. All right, so our network config rules. So our fake internet range is going to be .200, which is where our Kali and our Windows boxes are going to live. So DMZ is 100. So let's go look at how we can build that out. Can I close it? No, okay. Yeah, here we go. So what we want to do is we'll start with this very basic block right here. And I believe this is just set up. You didn't copy? Copy, fool. There we go. I believe this goes on the same kind of scope line as Ludus. I don't think it's a sub-thing to Ludus. Oh, I know. Basic Active Directory Lab, because this actually has an example of it. Yeah, so it's like an entry node. All right. So external default, accept. Enter VLAN default, reject, perfect. What is external default again? I'm trying to remember. Let me double check what this rule does. Two keys exist to set the default for traffic leaving the network. External default and traffic between VLANs. By default, both these values are accept. Let's see, this is useful in the case where the external default is reject, okay? What does this say here? This rule is allow VLAN 20 out to the internet using any protocol and any port. Only useful when external default is set to reject, which I think is what I want. I think I don't want these machines talking out to the internet, so what we're going to do is we're set external default to reject. Always blocked networks. I don't think this will matter. Yeah, I think we can drop that for now. Take that out. Bam. Okay. So, example for our other rules here. So it looks like we can specify all for some of these values if we wanted to. What is VLAN destination public? So I have not tinkered with these very much. So let's see what this VLAN destination key does here. I just realized that was a little small, a little bit up for you to read. So VLAN destination can accept the special value public, which allows traffic to the internet, but not other VLANs. So this is useful in cases where external default is reject. Ah, okay. Gotcha. Very cool. So what we can do is, we don't have to worry about using the public version here, because our external default, because basically very few things are going to need access out to the internet. We're going to want Windows and Kali to have that. Actually, to it, let's do this real quick. Let's go grab this rule here. We'll make that our first rule. I think it's rules. Yeah. This will allow VLAN 200 out to the internet using any protocol and any port, which our external default is the project. There we go. So source VLAN 200, destination public, all protocols, all ports, action is accept. Perfect. So what I was thinking about here in the lab diagram is originally I was thinking of restricting very specific ports in and out. In the end, I think what I'm going to do here is just, I'm going to apply that from D4 to D2, right? The DMZ DC is going to need access to corpse DC. So we'll probably put an explicit rule for that, from that IP to that IP, because I don't feel like putting all the explicit port ranges in there. But then as far as once you're in the corporate network, Corp will have full access to HQ and R&D. Yeah, we'll say that this is probably a pretty flat network at this portion right here. Let me think about this. Yeah, I kind of like that idea. I think that'll work pretty slick. Because I thought about restricting some of this connection here. So from like 200 to 100, right, coming from where Kali is into the DMZ, it's going to be restricted to like just a handful of ports. I might even put something listening in here that is like basically going to throw up like false flags, you know? No, I probably won't do that. I'll probably just have 8443 because I personally hate it whenever guys do that. That seems like a kind of a CTF-y thing. I don't know. I'll take a poll on it later. But anyway, so we do want to make some restrictions from 200 to 100. And that is maybe we only want to allow like 80 and 443 in. Let's see. And in fact, here's a rule that's very much akin to that. So let's just go duplicate that real quick. Only allow TCP 80 from VLAN 200, 100. So we're going from source 200, which is our internet, 100, which is the DMZ, and we'll do port 80. I should just let that as it is, because I'm going to do 443 also. There we go. And the reason I'm mainly doing that is because I don't know if the vulnerable web server I'm going to put up in the DMZ is going to be running on 80 or 443, or both, right? It could be listening on 80 and just 302 them to 443. You know what we also need to do is we need to allow VLAN 100. VLAN 100 needs to be able to talk out to the internet as well. Not the real internet, but to our public internet. So let's copy that. What we'll say is we're going to allow all traffic from VLAN 200 to VLAN 100 simulated. So the source is, yeah, so just swap the sources here, protocol, any, ports, any. Then that'll be an accept. So we should actually only have accept rules in here because everything is explicit reject up here. Okay. So before I get too far ahead of myself, let's go look at what we have listed out here. So that's VLAN 200. I'm just going to change this. This is going to be VLAN 200. All right, DMC has access to the fake internet. It does. Squid proxy has access to the fake internet. Okay, we're going to need to go adjust that then. We're going to need to make Squid where it has access to VLAN 200 also. And I'm not going to worry about this because the network's going to be kind of flat there to begin with. So what we'll do is we'll do another one here. Allow Squid access to VLAN 200, VLAN 100. Wait, I got this backwards. This should be allow 100 to 200. 200 is the simulated internet. Here we go. Let's see. So, where was Squid at? Squid was in HQ, and so it's VLAN 10.30. Okay, so source VLAN 10, destination 200, but there's actually a particular way we could craft this to where it's just that one particular host. Here we go. This is actually what I want right here. Copy this rule. I'm just going to override all this crap. Boop. All right, so source VLAN. Where was Squid again? Squid is in the HQ, which is VLAN 10. Okay, so source VLAN 10, last octet is Squid, which is 30, destination would be 200. I think if I leave that off, it should be good. And the ports should be... Can you do port ranges in here? That would be handier. Allow TC ports, 88. Oh, cool, you can do ranges. I wonder if that will do a comma-separated list, though, because everything up here is statically defined. That's why I had 2 rules for that. I'm going to say any. We'll leave that as a misconfiguration in the lab. Okay. So allow Squid access to VLAN 200, which is the simulated internet. Source VLAN 10, that's HQ. .30 is the Squid server. Destination will be 200. Yeah, protocol. Let's say protocol any. Ports any. Sweet. Okay. This is one of the reasons why I've come to love Ludus, is because think about this. This is essentially taking care of all the Terraform portion, and we're just getting it like knocked out super fast. Okay. HQ VLAN has access to everything. Think about this. Rather than saying HQ has access to everything, we actually might need to restrict this down. I'm going to say it has access to Corp and RD. DMZ is permitted to talk to the Corp domain controller. Did we do that? No, it didn't. We allowed the... Wait, what's this one? So we allowed the DMZ to talk to the internet. That's what we allowed. And then we allowed the internet to talk to the DMZ on 80 and 443. Okay? So we got that going. So that covers this link. So conversations originating here can reach the internet. Things coming from the internet coming in can only hit 80 and 443 on the web server. Perfect. So Corp will need to add a rule that, I think this is VLAN 10, can it reach 20 and 30? I think it's 10, 20, 30, 40, like that. I think that's how it is. Yeah, 10, 20, 30. Okay. So we'll need rules to allow HQ to reach everything in here. Probably not everything, probably just to reach Corp and R&D. Yeah, that's what we'll do. And so we'll have to pair these rules because we have to specify source and destination. So we'll say HQ has the ability to reach D2 and can reach this. So we'll need 4 sets of rules there. Not so bad. Let me think about this. HQ needs access to Corp and RD. All right, so what we can do is we'll duplicate this rule because it's just a can't type. It's just an inter VLAN route setup. So we'll say allow HQ and to Corp. So source is 10, that's 20. Everything gets accepted. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change this to R and D. It's gonna be 30. Just change this to 30. Actually, I do need to duplicate this one. Because I just realized that's only one way. We got to do it 2 directions. So allow corp to HQ. And we just swap this so things coming from VLAN 20 can hit the stuff at VLAN 10. Perfect. So then we allow HQ to 30. Duplicate this and swap them around again. And then just swap these values. Boom. So now we've got, because you got to remember, TCP only creates the illusion of two-way. It's really a dual one-way scenario. So you got to think about how's the traffic going and how's the traffic coming back. So that's why these rules are getting doubled up, so that way we can have bi-directional communication in here. All right, so HQ does have VLAN access to Corp and R&D. That should be good. DMZ permitted to talk to the Corp domain controller. All right, so let's go do that. So actually, we need one where we're using the specific IP address. Grab this rule. Let's see. So let's say allow DMZ DC to Corp DC. Oh my god, can't type. Corp DC. There we go. So source VLAN, that's going to be 100. Hack le planet. Kaiju, hey man, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a minute. Hope everything's been good in your part of the world. Dude, Kaiju, I was talking with some guys this morning. I actually was pimping out 19.4 to them.
I'm back, baby.
I'm back, baby. Hello, Bender. Let's see. What is the DMZ DC? It should be just 10. You know that game 19.4? I was telling some folks about it today because we were just talking about video games, and they asked if I had played anything recently, and I was like, really? I think the last game I played was First Descendant and 19.4. Whenever like I really just want to chill and not just do like some basically chill puzzles, because that's how I kind of view the game. Ah, there we go. That's what I need. Let's see. So that's going to be 10 to 10. Yeah, I saw there was a thing to. I saw there was a thing to make like custom challenges in there. I thought that was pretty cool. That would be something fun to do just for, I mean, just to go make it. I don't know. I'm not very good at graphics design though, so I don't know what I would need to do for that. But I do like the idea. Duplicate this rule here. But we'll swap it around. It's going to be 200 to 100. No, that's not correct. That is not correct at all. Because Corp... Shit, where was Corp at? Corp is VLAN 20. I was like, wait a second, 200 the internet? That ain't right. Where's your boy in the evolution of full-fledged hacker? Dude, I've done the academy in like a couple of the missions, but honestly, I only get to play video games for maybe about 2 to 3 hours a week. That might be on a Friday night when I'm not streaming and like really late at night. And so the last couple of times I had time to play a video game, I was playing First Descendant. Because that's a very simple pick up and put down game. And it was free too, so that helped. Let's see. Alright, so we have DMC is permitted to talk to Corp domain controller. All domain controllers need access to each other. That's right. Oh, the guy you co-stream with, Salty. Unfortunately, Salty's been going through a bit of a rough patch, and so he hasn't been able to hop on for those mentoring streams, unfortunately. Yeah, we were doing Try Hack Me with him. Yeah, so I don't want to go into too many details about it, but as soon as I can, I'll make an announcement on the stream about what's going on with him. But he's going through a real rough patch right now, and so he hasn't been able to hop on for the stream stuff. He's had a lot of other stuff going on in his mind right now. Shut up, baby. I know it. Yeah, and you kill me. All right. You know what's funny is I had a guy on one of the video calls I was on today, because this is the B-Sides DFW shirt, right? And he thought like it had just happened or something. I was like, oh no, it's one of my shirts, and like this was the first one. He's like, oh great, because B-Side's been going on forever. I was like, no, this is from probably 14 years ago, the first one. He's like, oh yeah, it's got a hole in it. You can barely see it, but there's a tiny little hole right there. I'm wearing this shirt until it dies, because it's a collector's item. All right, all domain controllers need access to each other. Okay. Oh, that's gonna be a pain. Let me think about this. So all the domain controllers. So we're gonna need. Let's start with HQ. So HQ to Corp. And then we're going to need HQ to R&D. Let's see. Yeah, dude, it's always like it gets pinched, I guess, like in my seatbelt buckle. And yeah, I'll get little holes right there where my belt buckle is. Hate that. Should they have access to each other? They're going to need some access for the trust relationships. So, actually, come to think of it, we just allowed everything from up here. R&D is allowed to talk to HQ. HQ is allowed to talk to R&D. Corp is allowed to talk to HQ. Corp's allowed to talk to R&D. So that part's actually already taken care of here. We need to allow Corp to R&D because they have a trust relationship. Like this. So this is probably going to be like R&D, like R&D.corp.baby bottles Inc. or something. Baby bottles Inc.local, whatever. This is all subject to change. Right now, we're just theory crafting. But HQ has access to all of these. That's a bit of an overstatement because, like, the DMZ domain controller doesn't need access to HQ. The Skunkworks domain controller doesn't need access to HQ. But we do need to actually permit Corp to R&D. So let's go duplicate this HQ rules. We'll do the same for Corp to R&D. They're going to need two-way communication. Do R&D. Corp. There we go. So, because I want those to have two-way communication as well. But this isn't just the domain controllers. That's actually going to be like all the VLANs. Yeah, so I'm making the internal a little less restricted and a little bit more open. Let me duplicate this one. Let's bring this rule down. So we're going to allow corp to R&D, which is going to be, where's R&D again? 30? Yeah, 30. So source 20 to 30. And then we'll swap that rule around. So we'll only allow R&D. Push that back. So we'll take 30 to 20. Yeah, so essentially just making this portion right here, it's going to be kind of flat. But there's restrictions between this jump, and there's going to be restrictions between this jump here. And so this will probably just be like the domain controller is able to talk between these two. Maybe. Let me think. I'm trying to think how I want to do that. So actually, I take that back. There might be... We can actually do it with the workstation, come to think of it. Perseus, got it. It took me a second. God, my lead is rusty. Hey man, what's up? Thanks for coming online. I had to think about that for a sec. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. Actually, Domain 5 has a domain controller, a file server, and a workstation. So probably it makes more sense that D5, the things from D1 to D5, it would need to, so the domain controller is going to have to communicate to one another, but also maybe D1 can communicate to the workstation, and the file server is just restricted. Yeah, and so the way we'd have to do that, because I'm working on, all the network rules are set up as an explicit deny. So we're doing, and we're just opening up the different segments to it. So yeah, I think if we do D1, this... Yeah, if we allow D1 to talk to just the domain controller and just the workstation, I think we start building out a nice fun lab in here. God, this thing's gonna be legit. Now, trying to actually go through and plan out the exploit paths, that's gonna take some time. Because legit, the only one I've really thought about is this one here, and the trust relationships. And how we're gonna configure the trust relationships is gonna be tricky. Because there's no built-in Ludus roles for that. So we're probably gonna have to go get our hands dirty, build out some Ludus roles, it's basically some Ansible roles, and get those guys talking to each other. Part of this also might be just go spin up the lab and then start tinkering with it. Oh shit, you know what I just remembered? Actually, there was a bug in Mythic I needed to report. I just remembered. Hang on one second. Let me do that before I forget again. Oh, come on. Because somewhere in here, what we had was... Yeah, so we tried loading Mimikatz, and we got this error here. It didn't compile right. But if we went to our weird self-inject one, Mimikatz did run. So, okay, I gotta go report this to them real fast while I'm thinking about it. Hold on, try to get the perfect screenshot. Grab that. Base agent. There we go. All right, I was meaning to send that to the send that up to the Mythic chat earlier today. I just forgot about this. I got this super easy. I'm actually kind of excited because now that I'm more comfortable with Mythic, I've got a penetration test that's I actually went and set up Mythic up in AWS, and I got it agent nice and built, tested it out, sent it to my client. I'm just waiting for them to run it. And of course, it's a penetration test, right? So it's not like a red team engagement. So there's no obfuscation on it. We're just going to bypass it on Defender on the endpoint. And then also, I just loaded all the commands in it, just made it chunky boy. Chunky. Let me see. That's it. I gotta run to the bathroom. I'll be right back, y'all. back. But yeah, Dan, that's pretty much it. Just send them the C2 payload, let them run it. It's really more of like a, as I said, it's a very baby penetration test. It's super small. So it was a perfect test case for getting the excuse to use a C2 rather than trying to do like a remote access VM or box or anything. Let's see here. All right, so we allowed Corp to R&D, R&D to Corp. The SQL servers will need access to each other. Okay. So our SQL servers were in... We had one in D3, and we had one in D1. Okay, those actually already have access to each other because we've got an explicit permit between the two sections. SCCM needs global access. Well, yeah, which it already has because SCCM is in HQ. HQ has access to both the other ones. We should be good. Same thing for Elastic Security. Oh, okay. So I think that mostly covers the config portion here. I'll see about ordering some new RAM for the server. It's not a lot. It's like 32 gigs per, or 32 gigs. It's like $32 a stick. It's going to be roughly like $128 because it's about $1 per gig for that RAM. So I'll see about getting the server upgraded. All right, so what we'll need on the Debian system. So we're going to need some kind of vulnerable Linux container. I'm going to say web exploit jumps into Docker. Oh, you know what? I think I know what to do. Socket. Yeah. Socket exposed. Yeah, because there's one where if the Docker socket is accidentally exposed to the container, you can bust out of it. In this case, you can use regular Docker commands, yeah. Now, I gotta think about how I want them to do that, though, because... I like this idea, but at the same time, I'm trying to also make it so it's viable, right? Actually, this one might be a good one. Capability abuse escape. Check current container capabilities using previously mentioned automatic tools, or CAP-SH. Escaping from privileged containers. Well, privileged containers, I don't want to just go that quite easy route, but I also don't want to make something that's super complicated. With these permissions, you can just move to the namespace of a process running in the host as a root, like init PID1. That's if it's privileged. I don't want to do a privileged container. That's for old Docker. That's creating a release agent. There we go. Privilege escape of using sensitive mounts. We might be able to make this one work. Several occasions you'll find the container has some volume mounted from the host. This volume wasn't correctly configured, You might be able to access and modify sensitive data, read secrets. It's like, yeah, that's almost the exact same thing I was just talking about. Privilege escape with 2 shells and host mount. So if you have access as root inside a container that has some folder from the host mounted, and you have escaped as a non-privileged user to the host and have read access over the mounted folder. Okay, so this is actually using it as privilege escalation. Let's see. So if you can access the process of the host that you're running, to be able to access a lot of information stored in that process. So, for example, you'll be able to list processes using something like PSAXUN to start. Oh, okay, that's if the PID is the host here. Got it. So instead of having a virtual PID, right, what we're going to have is... Here, I'll show you. Let's copy this. So we go... what system do I want to do this on? We could do it on Mythic, actually. So we blow this up a bit. Read it. So if I run this right here. Now I'm going to take out this host PID part first. So what this is going to do is it's going to create a temporary Docker container that gets deleted as soon as that Docker process exits. Make it interactive on the terminal. It's going to run Ubuntu, and then it's going to run bash inside the Ubuntu container. You bastard. So we'll give it a second to download this. Okay, so now if I look at the processes, like if I do PSAUX, there's only 2 processes here, right? There's PID1, which is bash, and then there's PS, which is a child process of that. There's nothing else that this container sees. But if I run the same command, I give it tac PID equals host, and then I do a PSAUX. You see, we see all the processes running on the host now. Then you can access each process of the host in /proc and just steal their environment secrets. Yeah. You can also kill processes, yeah. So I'm trying to think what else we might be able to do with that. So I like this idea. This is a cool one. And it's actually probably going to throw people for a loop, right? They're going to land in the Docker container, but they're going to see all of the... I don't know if I want to make it that complicated. How evil do I want to be with the initial access? That is the question. Do I want to be super evil? Do I just want to be a wee bit evil? Alright, I want to keep that one as a maybe. Host network, host IPC. So with host IPC, you gain access to the host IPC resources. I like shared memory. This allows reading and writing. IPC host, that's a little bit interesting. Cover capabilities. Let's see, there's the run C exploit. Trying to think about something. So if we had a system up and running Docker, so let's say it's one of our Debian 12 systems. Let me think about this. You know what we actually ought to do? Let's come over to Proxmox real quick, and let's just clone out a Debian 12 real quick to tinker with. Clone that. VMID 9991. Linked clone name test Debian. Let's clone that out real fast here. And what I'll do is I'll just install Docker IO. We'll use that as an example because I'm going to blow this machine away once we're done with it anyway. I'll let this connect for just a second. Okay. Now, I apologize I can't make the font any larger. I forgot the password. It's Debian. Debian. Alright, so here on Debian, if we do, I'm gonna just sudo it. So we do apt update. I'll do it apt install docker.io. So we'll go install this real quick. There we go. And then once we've got that in here, if we look at ESAUX, alright, so we see a lot of stuff in here. Apt install tmux. There we go. If we do this inside of tmux, it'll make it a little bit simpler. And then, so again, if we do ps, we do auxn. Oh, actually, that might be a cool one. Let me try something real quick. So if we do docker run rm it, and what we'll do is we'll give it PID equals host. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Ubuntu and bash. I'm gonna bring this up just a bit here, so make it a little bit easier to read so the text isn't behind me. Oh, bastard, I forgot about that. Oh, dang it. How do we fix that? Debian 12x 509. Signed by unknown. That's not a great solution to this. This is an OS level system here. This would be a pain to do if I have to go do this by hand. All right, did you try to restart the Docker service in client? Install the Harbor private CA certificate in the machine, then restart the Docker client machine. Also, a common mistake, ask me how I know. You have to configure the full certificate chain in the configuration file, not just the last one. Very same issue. However, if I use curl, actually, let's go check curl because I think this might be. So if we curl HTTPS, let's say ifconfig that hit me. You bastard! Apt install curl. I forgot how bare bones this Debian is. Yeah, setting. Let me take out Docker. Let's see, edit, etc and add your certificate there. That's not right. All these guys are using custom certificates, but these should all be like public, well-known, trusted authorities. Let's see, what is this one? It was setting certificate file. Error setting certificate. Could you stop sending me to Ubuntu? I specifically searched for Debian 12. I have to reinstall CA certificates. I might just try the reinstall. I have to reinstall CA tax certificates. All I want to do was pull one damn little Docker container. Okay, so that fixes that. Let's see if this fixes it here. We're gonna have to system control, restart, Docker. There we go. Rude. Very rude, sir. Wait, what? Response from the daemon, app armor enabled on system, but the Docker default profile could not be loaded. What? What if I leave out that host PID? That's weird. I've never seen that with Docker before. Docker missing Apple. Itself for a homeless system. I'm trying to find this. App armor is missing in the Ubuntu Debian image, though it is enabled in the kernel by default. I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna try something silly here. Apt. Yep. Continue. Just upgrade the whole damn system. This damn skinny ass Debian's killing me. As much as I would really love to have time to go dig into app armor, got an objective to complete. And then let's go ahead and boot. We'll reboot this system real quick, let it flush everything out, reset. Welcome to Grub. Can I take your order? Alright, cool. Now let's log in. So Debian. We'll load up some tmux. Hang on, guys. Be right back. I think I just heard APT. Alright, I'm back. The sock is on it. Hey, doggy. Hey, man. Hadn't seen you in a minute. Dude, so we're building out a new home lab. Check out this beast here. Look at this thing. Wait, hold on. There it is. Look at this thing. I've gone off the rails. I decided I wanted to build a lab not too dissimilar from what the RTO had. And so I'm working on testing out some of this stuff. So I'm working on the initial access point over here and trying to like kind of plan out how people are going to pop their first shell and then start worming through the system. And Debian's just being an absolute turd. So let me try something real quick here. Sudo docker run rmit ubuntu dash. Actually, I want to try PID. Oh my god, Docker, you're killing me. Sudo apt. I think uninstall the command. Docker that. Boot docker. Yes. Get rid of Docker. Goodbye. Be gone. Good. Alright. Sudo apt install git. And what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to go clone down Mythic onto this machine just to get the install container. Because I don't have a SSH terminal, I've just got this console connection here. What I want to do is git clone. GitHub.com. I think it's a feature. I think that's how he spells it. Yeah, it's a feature / mythic. Okay. Because in here, there's a very handy install Docker for Debian script. Let this download real quick. How much processing power is this machine using? Let's see. It's at 2 and 4. It's so good. Perfect. So this would be one of those ones that I could turn this machine down to try and conserve some resources. Okay. CD over to Mythic. Then where is it? It's install Docker Debian. Sudo. Go forth and install for me. All I wanted to do is I wanted to test something, because I just had an idea. Alright, so that should be running now. So now, if I look for... Ah, perfect. Okay. PS... PS... AUXN. So we see Tmux running in here. Install Tmux. I'm going to try something crazy here. As I'm going to see if I can connect to the Tmux session that's on here. What is it for? I gotta remember what it is. Tmux list sessions. List attack sessions, that's it. I got an idea here. Okay, so we'd have to mount the temp directory. Really? Okay, I'm gonna exit out of that. I'm gonna rerun it. So if we look in the temp directory, nothing in there. All right, so I'm gonna exit out of here. I'm gonna run this again, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a volume mount. We're gonna mount temp to temp. There we go. And now if I do an ls on TMP, we see a couple of different things happening here. Nice. Namely that Tmux 01000 happening. So if we do a PS, awesome. Awesome to the max. Hang on, I'll do something else right here. I'm gonna rename this session. Rename window home. Yeah, actually, I kind of like this attack path. This is kind of cool. So, okay, so what we've got is they'll be able to see the process. And now if we do apt update, apt install tmux tower y. Let that run, and then we do tmux sessions. Wait a second, hold on. Oh, I know why. Because look at UID. It's because it's trying to look for Tim. It's looking for user 0 on there. That's why. Thanks, Big Dog. I'm trying to remember what it was to see the UID. Yeah, that's what I thought. That tracks with what I'm seeing in there. I haven't actually tried this before, because what I'm thinking is that we'll have like a privileged Tmux session here that someone could jack into. So what we could do is, I'm trying to decide if this attack path is too convoluted now. But what I was thinking was, and we actually don't even need like the host PID here, but by sharing the temp resource from the base folder, they could access that tmux folder. So, app install file. Yeah, that's a socket right there. So I wonder if we can connect to that socket. Tmux connect to socket. I remember, but I think there was a command line flag that lets you pass the socket path session. That's what I was just wondering. Looks like TAC capital S. So creating a socket file owned by a selected user's mutual group and using a session name would be better than using a session number. The following attaches to session 0 creates a new session. That's not what he was asking though, bro. So tac S is the socket path. Specify a full alternative path to the server socket. If tac S is specified, the default socket directory is not used and the tac L flag is ignored. So let's go try that. So what if we did... Let me try this. So we did install tmux, right? Yes. Okay. So exit. So if I did a tmux, S. Didn't actually do what I wanted it to do. See that? But actually, so in their current tmux session right here, we have two windows. We have sudo and pwned. But notice that as soon as we connected to that, it got dropped over into Debian. I gotta try something. So what we'll do is we'll do tmux. I'm gonna try this sudo tmux. I'm gonna disconnect to this one. Tmux list sessions. Oh, I know why I did that. Because it started at 0. So ls temp. We should see tmux tac 0. Here we go. Yes. All right. I'm liking this attack path. Why? Because people are always ripping on me for using tmux. Well, at least one of my old bosses used to. I don't know what I was doing there. Okay. Shit, now I gotta document this out. Because what this will do is this will give them root access into the underlying system from the Docker container. Okay. Comes into Docker container. Container uses PID equals host and tac v temp. Then what we'll do is we'll spawn tmux session as root on boot. So we'll have to set up something to spawn that as the root user. We take this out. Actually, if we wanted to make this a little bit more challenging, what we could do is spawn it as Debian. And then we'd have to go build in a local privilege escalation onto the underlying system. Oh, you know what I just realized? If we're going to be doing this over a C2 channel, though, they're not going to have a fully interactive session like that. I mean, you could do it over a different kind of... Oh, I got to think about this. They'd have to go spawn something that would give them like a fully interactive TTY to do this. Oh, I like this idea. I love it, but I'm trying to think how do we go build it? Because the idea here is, right, we'd have some kind of Docker socket that's exposed in the temp directory The host PID actually is just going to kind of throw them off. We could go do something else with that, but it's going to dump them into the user account on the underlying OS. They're going to have some kind of local privilege escalation. Probably like a misconfigured sudo rule is what I'm thinking. Like a sudo rule maybe to start the Docker container. And then that sudo role has no password, but it's got a vulnerability in it, right? Where we could like maybe chain on another command. Force connect to tmux socket. Actually, I need to move this up. Because that's what we're going to need to do. We're going to need to spawn that tmux session as Debian on boot. So it creates the socket for them to go steal it. Actually, this would even come up here. So, yeah, so on the DMC... Actually, I need to make a subcategory for this because this should be web. Each of these should be moved in a scope line. There we go. So on the web server, spawn a tmux session as Debian. Actually, can't you tell a tmux session to run a command? I believe you can. So if we tell it run command in tmux without attaching. Hang on one second. Alright, I'm back. Let's see, is it possible to send input to a tmux session without connecting to it? It should be. Pretty sure there was a way to do that. Command is send. Send is a key sequence, so treat it accordingly. We'll have to test this out once I get it up and running. So probably in Ludus, over in the developer lab, I think what I'll do. Just use the ads for a little bit. Let's look at Proxmox real quick. So the developer lab is currently running a very small network. I think what I'll do is I'll decommission the dev lab and probably decommission the Blaze lab because we don't need this stuff anymore. And then over in the dev lab, we'll start using that for building small test cases. Yeah, I think that might. Because I need to see how this is going to. Like I said, I'm expecting to do all this over a C2 channel, but that's not necessarily true because the user will have access to Kali. So, let's say they get command execution into the system, but if they're going to need to have a way to spawn like an actual interactive TTY, to do it like the manual way. Let's try something. Let's see, could we send this to it? So if we do, like in this case, could we combine this TAC T? Let's see, the target is specified with TAC T. Who one depending on the pane you wish to hit. Wait, TAC T is the, that's the session. T-Max man page. So TAC T is the target session. So if we wanted to send it to maybe 00, you could do that. They'd have to know that 00 was there, though. Man, I love this idea. I'm just trying to think, also, how's it going to work from the perspective of somebody who pops in and attacks it. Now, I'm looking at this from the idea of somebody's going to be using a C2, because that's kind of like a red team simulation thing. But if somebody wants to use something like Interpreter or Metasploit, they totally could. I wish I had Mythic set up so I could test this out. Hang on one sec, y'all. Target session, target. Let's detach. So TAC T is the target session. So if we wanted to take a look at how that is set up. Sudo tmux list sessions. Actually, so the user could run that. From the C2, they could actually just send that command like tmux list sessions. It would show up just fine. Because if we come over here and pop back into here, list sessions, they're going to see the session built out here, right? So then, actually, so I'm going to exit out of there. I'm going to drop back into the container and out of tmux. List sessions. Can I do that? Okay, one window. So then what happens if I send it a command? Let's look at this. So this is saying you need TAC T 2.0. I'm trying to think how to combine this TAC S with this TAC T here. So if we do TAC T, maybe 0.0? So it looks like it's session 0, Windows 0. So it'd be tmux send. Let's see, send, who am I? And Unknown option tac T. Look at this. I can actually look at it from here. So we do that. Do key box attach. I have no idea what I hit here to do this. I hit something. I hit some funny command sequence I've never seen before. There we go. Send is short for send keys, which is located in the original man page, but perhaps difficult to find that mile of text. Actually, I can have it stay attached there. Here. Alright. That said, I apologize for the tiny text, though this particular interface, I can't zoom it in anymore. It's kind of annoying. Oh, it sends who am I? So you can send keys, but how can you send commands? Tmux send keys as command. Let's see. The key names used by send keys are the same ones used for bind keys. There's also special names for keypad specific keys like KP enter. Oh, here we go. Oh, maybe it doesn't need to be uppercase enter. I think that was the issue here. I just want everybody to appreciate this is what every CTF creator goes through. It didn't send it. It sends it exactly how it is. Okay, there we go. Let me try this one more time. Awesome. Okay, so that was actually a lot more. That was a lot simpler than I thought. I was making it more complicated by having it wrapped in single quotes. So with this, they did once they have access to the socket and they realize it, they'd be able to send keys to that container and run it. Hey, Gan. This is a console connection to a virtual machine. I mean, I'll try it. I don't know if it works in. Don't think there's a set font command in Debian. Yeah. So this is literally a console connection. Like I've just connected to mouse and keyboard and monitor on this VM. Because I was just using it to do a quick test of a potential exploit path I want to build into this lab. And having a good time with it, but trying to test it out, this was less than ideal. I'm going to have a better test setup next time. Where I can actually go SSH into the darn thing. But, okay. I need to go make a note of this over here. Force connect to tmux socket with tac S, and it's going to be temp. Oh gosh, what is it? Temp tmux 0. Actually, I want it to be in tmux 1000 default. keys, send keys to send commands to socket, and it's going to be the same thing here. So for example, tmux tag s, going to be temp. So what we're doing is we're basically building out the initial access exploit. And part of that's going to do is it's going to land them in a Docker container. So we're planning out the Docker escape right now. And so once they've got the Docker escape, then they'll be able to do a privesc on the system and then steal some SSH keys to actually get access to the domain controller. It's always so annoying, Gan, is yeah, you can zoom in on the Twitch mobile app, but you can't really do it from the computer. It's like, come on, man. Come on, man. Send keys, who am I? Enter. Okay, so we'll have that as the example there. So that's how the Docker, I'm gonna say Docker escape, it's gonna work. Because once they've got that, then they can just execute a very simple download exec cradle to spawn a new process, right? They can spawn a new C2 agent outside of outside the Docker container. All right, so the local privilege escalation is going to be the next thing here. And I think this is going to be a misconfigured pseudo rule to start the Docker container from user Debian. I think that's how I'm going to let that one run. Let's see. And I apologize for getting on my phone during the stream. I don't usually, but there's a little happenings on with my family I'm trying to keep tabs on. What else is family good for than distracting you? Let's see. So we're going to have a script to launch Docker container. And so that script probably is what it's going to have is it's just going to say like sudo docker yada yada yada. And so if they test that, they'll see, hey, this is what's going on with it. But then hopefully that should lead them to then look at the sudo rules. So misconfigured sudo rule to start the Docker container from user Debian. Oh, thanks, man. Yep. Thankfully, my my youngest son, who I call the APT, the aggressively persistent toddler, has actually been slowly getting less aggressive. But he'll still wake up. He's got a good knack for knowing right about where midnight is, and he'll wake up and he'll try to come crawl into bed with me. I'm like, no, go back to your own bed. You kick me in your sleep. Hey, Panda. Yeah, I like this idea here. I think, though... Let me make a note on this real quick, because I want to see how I could do that. Allow user to run Docker without. Yeah, tell me about it. I got 2 children and a dog. So the number of things that their pooping schedule I have to monitor is much higher than I've ever expected it to be in my life. Let's see, this is not what I want to do. I wanted to... Let me look at this. Allow sudo without password for specific commands. There we go. Let's see, if your user is called user and your host is called host, you could add these to your etc sudoers command. Oh, you don't also want to do, this is a super bare bones Debian, so we'll have to install and configure sudo as well. Because right now there is no sudo command. Alright, let me go put that in the notes too while I'm thinking about it. Install Docker from Mythic install script. So we'll use the Mythic install script to get Docker up and running. Need to apt install sudo also. Sounds like pseudoscience. You're banned, sir. You're banned for the pun. No, I'm just kidding. I fucking love puns, actually, but... One of my coworkers, she is just a pun... She's a punnosaur. Right. And just... she gets... The puns she comes up with is so bad, they just... The cringe is so great, it hurts. I just happen to be the fun auntie for any of the children around in my family. That's what I call my brother. He's the Funkle. It was funny, one time we're at a park and my mother-in-law was with us. A bunch of the grandkids were there. My brother was coming and she didn't know. And the kids they see him and they run over and start dogpiling him. And he's picking him up and slinging him around. And she can only partially see him. And she's like, it's like, hey, who's that weirdo picking up the kids? Oh, it's your brother. Okay. Oh, Panda, why are you so hot? You're so tiny. Hang on a sec. Come here, Panda. Brought my new folks in. Here's your daily dose of Panda. Panda, I need pseudo rules. I need pseudo rules. Yes. I know, you don't like sudo, but I need help with it. Yes, I need help with sudo rules. Yeah. She's funny too. She's just a little nutball. Bostons are actually really smart. I knew they were smart dogs. I didn't realize exactly how smart, but she's a little terror sometimes. She looks sweet. Also, she's a cold-blooded killer. She full-on murdered and ate 3 of my chickens. I had the panda cam on earlier, but then she stopped sleeping under I turned it off for something and I forgot to turn it back on. And then she stopped sleeping under the desk with a camera point. She's sleeping over on my old nasty gym bag now. That's here in the office. It's actually still full of a bunch of old martial arts VHS training tapes that I have been meaning to go rip and digitize because there's just some stuff in there that I just don't want lost to the sands of time. Feed me. No pseudo, feed me. She's probably thinking pseudo feed me now. Yeah, pseudo fan. Let's see. Actually, if I think about this, right? If I do, oh no, it's just password. I'm trying to think, how did I get into? Oh, there's sudo in here, that's right. If I really wanted to mess with somebody, we could just not give them root access and make them go spin up a container to get the root access into the underlying host. I kind of like that idea rather than doing the weak sudo rule. So here's how this would work. Let me draw this out. I saw that on a message on a Linux box one time, and all I could think is, what the hell do I do now? Oh, let me pull up the iPad real quick here. Here's what I'm thinking, right? So, from the Kali box, there's going to be some kind of an exploit, right? That's going to land them in Docker. And then from Docker, they can, they'll have access, if I can spell correctly, they'll have access to a Debian tmux socket. So once they get that, they'll have underlying operating system command and control. So then the next thing that they could do, so they'll have host OS, they command exec. From there, they can use that to basically they could use that to spawn a new container. And then from that new container, they'd also, if they mounted the root directory, right? Then they could read to get the SSH keys. And then from there, they'd be able to SSH into the DC. All right, I think that will make actually a pretty... I like that idea, actually. So they're going to escape out of Docker just to use Docker again as a local privilege escalation. So if we restrict root access on the Debian system, right? They could spin up a new container where they are root, mount the file system, browse the file system, find the SSH key, and then SSH over to the DC. Yeah, I like that idea. I like that a lot better than trying to have like a misconfigured sudo rule. Now the downside is also if they're, I'm trying to think, how would I do this if I was using something like Mythic? I'm trying to think, how would I do this over a C2 channel? So if the initial exploit landed me in Docker, let's say I sent a C2 payload. I think I want to take out this part, though. Let me look at something real quick. I need to try something. No, it does not. Debian, sudo is not default in Debian. And in fact, my buddy, who is a big Debian nerd, was like, sudo is an ancient Sumerian word for can't configure Debian. I want to test something, though. Let me see. Actually, I take that back. Because I just ran sudo docker. Oh, wait. It has sudo by default. I forgot about that. This one does. Wait, did I didn't install sudo, did I? Did I? Sudo? History pipe grep sudo. So unless it got installed from the install docker grep sudo. So unless by chance in some of the like as a dependency it was installed here, but I take that back. This Debian does have sudo. Because come to think of it, I didn't install sudo on the Mythic server. I didn't install sudo on this one. Let's see. Look at something real quick. Etsy sudoers. Sudo cat Etsy sudoers. Bastard. So this guy's not a member of a pseudo group. See that? I know it's difficult to read. I'll get a proper dev system set up for next time, because what I'll do is I'm going to blow away here in Proxmox. I'm going to blow away the Windows security internals lab right here. We don't need it. I'm going to blow away dev. I'm going to re-provision basically some testing boxes in dev, so that way we can come through and, like, if I wanted to have access to those systems, I could release them in here. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in here I want to do with this. Nope. I think what I'll do, that's probably where I'm going to wrap it up tonight, because I need to go check on some stuff with the family going on. But we'll work on this, like, actually kind of proofing out this exploit chain and how it's going to work, because then I got to figure out how am I going to set this up as a Ansible role for Ludus. So we'll have to go, this will probably be like our first one. We'll probably just make it a role unto itself that goes and sets up like the Docker container. We'll have to go figure out which Docker container to use, make sure we can configure it. Control Shift Plus. If that works, I'm going to be shocked. Hold on. That does not appear to be working. Yeah. No, because this is, we got to remember, this is a console connection. So, in fact, I'm going to blow away this system right now because I kind of know what I'm doing with it. I took some notes on it. So you stopped. And then I'm going to delete you. Move. One. Purge. Get rid of that guy right there. Okay. And actually, I'm going to shut down this one for now. Ghost Rider, I'm going to go ahead and shut down. They're not using it. Kali, we actually are using. Okay. Cool. All right, let's go find out somebody we can raid to real quick. Let's see if anybody's on InfoSec streams. Just us, man. The Night Owls. We rule the night. Occasionally Tyler's on this late, but actually he's trying to spend more time with the family. I'm not going to fault him. So. If anybody has anybody they would suggest to raid, please shout them out. Let's see. Hey, Ken. Yeah, welcome in, by the way. I do this pretty much every night, except Fridays, from 8 to 11 Central. Sometimes I get started a little bit late and I run late. But I try to be on for like 3 hours a night. So we can do this. Usually it's a really good day if I could get on exactly at 8. But that's what we try to do. And yeah, we're having fun with it. We're doing everything we can to learn more about just computer security. I've been penetration tester for 6 years, and I've wanted to move out of penetration testing and into red teaming, so that's what I've been actively working on. And part of that was, hey, by going and building the vulnerable labs, we're going to learn more about the attack patterns. Let me know if I need help with anything. Yeah, Dan. Totally. If anybody is new and is not on the Discord, wants to just come by to chat, it's mostly just a little bit of chit chat. I post some memes, but there's also some channels in there that I'm going to clean up to post resources for learning different things. So send Oni your way when you see him on Discord. Okay, I'll do that, Euler. But if you want to check that out, it's just !Discord in the chat. It'll get you the link to it. Let's see. Time Enjoyed is on. Ferret Software is always on. Especially there's who all might be on this doing something interesting. So let's just go pop over to Twitch real quick. Science and tech. Quantum Apprentice, let's go chat. Doing software and game dev. I don't... These ads are crazy. I want to say that they kind of, maybe they know their nerd audience, and that's why they're like, hey, have you brushed your teeth today? So what are they coding this in? Let's see. Oh, they're doing that in SQL, okay. Discord bot. Yeah, why not? I always like rating new folks. Nerds don't drive, right? I drive all the time. I tell my wife, codename Sock, the supportive, organized caregiver, who she handles the APT and Agent Zero whenever they try to make a break for it, which are my 2 kids. And so I tell her she's my passenger princess because I prefer to drive. We order everything on Amazon and hiss at the sun. I know, right? So I worked nights for a long time. And the first time I switched to day shift, my buddy messaged me. He's like, hey man, how are you doing? I was like, I think I'm hallucinating. There's a giant light and it kind of hurts. All right, Quantum Apprentice. Let's go hit him up. All right, everyone. That's the wrong button. Everyone, y'all have a fantastic rest of your hump day for the next, in my time zone, 43 minutes. And just remember, you got one more day of crushing it because it is read-only Fridays. If you value your weekend and you want to go do your own projects as opposed to fixing something that shouldn't have been pushed on a Friday, keep that in mind. So keep after it, keep crushing it. The week's getting towards the end here. I just want you all to know one thing. I love you. Peace.